Would you like to make a gorgeous paper craft with me? There is something so magical about transforming simple sheets of paper into something that glows. A little lantern that feels like a moment of calm in a busy world. And I just love how the light shines through each cut and fold, turning it into something peaceful and full of warmth. Hello everybody, JenniferMaker here. It's a beautiful day to make an ornate paper lantern. Now let's take a look at this one right here. Isn't it stunning? It is made from nothing more than cardstock, a piece of diffuser, and some LED lights. There's not even any glue, believe it or not. And yet, when you turn the lights on, it transforms into a lamp that looks like it belongs in a boutique shop or a festive holiday display. And the best part, you can absolutely make this even if you're new to Cricut, even if you've never folded cardstock into a 3D shape before, because I'm going to show you every single step from beginning to end, slowly, clearly, and with plenty of encouragement. Here's what we'll do together today. First, we'll build the lantern so you can see how it all comes together. Then I'll take you into Cricut Design Space with me and walk you through preparing the file. I'll explain not just what to click, but why, so you'll feel confident setting it all up. We'll also explore different diffuser materials, vellum, parchment paper, and copy paper. You can compare how each one changes the lantern's glow and pick your favorite. And if you use a Cricut Joy, I've got you covered. I'll show you the Joy-sized version and explain the differences between the little one and the big one. It is smaller, but it's adorable and it's perfect for gifts. And before we wrap up, I'll share that bonus design I mentioned, the butterfly lantern. You can get it free when you sign up for my newsletter, and it is such a lovely companion to today's heart lantern. So let's dive into the world of glowing paper lanterns together. We'll start with the materials because good materials make everything easier. You'll find all the tools and materials I used, plus where to get them, in my full supply list at JenniferMaker.com/794. For the lantern body, you need cardstock. For both sizes of the lantern, I recommend solid core cardstock. Solid core means the color goes all the way through the paper, and when you cut it, you don't see any distracting white edges. If you've ever used white core paper, you know what I'm talking about. You can get those little white flecks along the cuts, and those white edges really stand out. Solid core, on the other hand, gives you a smooth, polished look. Now let's talk about paper weight. 65-pound cardstock is fine, and if that's what you have to use it. It is easy to fold, but it is softer, so the lantern may feel a little floppier. It does work best for the Joy-sized lantern though, since its slits are so thin. For the larger lantern, 80-pound cardstock cuts beautifully and it holds its shape well. Anything heavier than that, though, can be tough for your Cricut to cut cleanly. So I recommend 80-pound for the big one and 65-pound for the smaller one. Next, the diffusers. These go behind the decorative panels to spread and soften the light. My favorite is vellum. It's translucent, sturdy, and gives the most even glow. But maybe you don't have vellum or it's hard for you to get, and that's okay. Parchment paper from your kitchen will also work. It gives a softer, warmer glow. And if all else fails, plain copy paper works too. It's not fancy, but it does the job. And later, I'll show you all three side by side so you can compare the results. For lighting, you want to use LED lights. Never use real candles in paper crafting. Safety first. You can use a battery-operated tea light or a puck light or fairy lights for the large lantern. Tea lights give a gentle flicker, puck lights give a bright, even glow in the larger lantern, and fairy lights, well, they're my favorite. They sparkle and shimmer and bring the whole lantern to life. For cutting, I'm going to use my Cricut Maker 4 today, but you can use any Cricut. The Maker, the Explorer, the Venture, the Joy Extra, all of those will make the larger version. And then I'm going to show you some tips for making the cute Cricut Joy version, which is this little one right here. For mats, use a green standard grip mat for the cardstock to hold the material firmly. For vellum or lighter papers, use a blue light grip mat. It's gentler, so delicate paper won't tear when you lift it off. Standard paper crafting tools help also, like a scoring stylus or a scoring wheel for the score version. And if you don't have a scoring tool, no worries, because I'm including a version that doesn't need it. You will also want a brayer to press your paper onto the mat smoothly, as it makes the difference between getting good cuts and bad cuts. I also recommend a spatula for lifting delicate pieces, a scraper to clean off little leftover bits, and tweezers for tiny things. To get the free files, go to JenniferMaker.com/794 and sign up for access to my resource library. I'll show you how to make the heart design, but there's also an adorable butterfly version. Now I've already cut everything on my Cricut, so here are my lantern pieces. 3 ornate frame pieces, 2 circular bases, 6 decorative panels, and 6 diffusers if you cut them. It is optional. Lay everything out face up and grouped. It's like laying out puzzle pieces before you start. It helps so much later. Let's start with the frame. Pick up the frame piece with one slit at the top and bottom outer edges and hold it upright. Now find the frame with 2 slits at both the top and bottom. Frame 1 goes inside frame 2, so slide the top slit of the first piece into the top slit of the second piece. Move slowly and don't let the extra decorations catch on each other. And don't force it either. Then work on the bottom slits. Remember, don't snag the pretty decorations. Lay the 2 frame pieces flat against each other. Now bring in the main frame piece. Slide the 2 joined frames into the main frame slits, starting with the top so you can make sure the extra decorations don't snag on each other. Secure the bottom too. When all 3 are combined, stand them upright and spread them apart. See how it already looks like the skeleton of a lantern? Now grab the solid circular base. This is the top. Hold your assembled frame upright and gently slide the top circle inside. Each vertical frame piece will match a slit on the circle's edge. If it feels snug, curve the cardstock inward slightly. Then take the second base, that's the one with the hole, and slot it into the frame at the bottom, inside the vertical pieces. Make sure the hole is flat because it will give you access to your lights later. And there you go, a sturdy lantern frame. Doesn't it look neat already? Now let's prepare the panels. Hold one face up and fold the top tab back along the crease. Then fold back along the bottom crease. These are mountain folds where the crease pops up. Then fold the little wings on the tabs back into the mountain folds too. If you're adding a diffuser, slip one behind the cutouts now. I'm using vellum, but I'll show you the other options soon. The wings hold it in place. No glue is needed. Take your time and prepare all 6 panels. The more care you put into folding, the better your lantern will look. Now we'll add the panels to the frame. Take your first panel and check that it's facing outward. Keep the wings folded and slide the top and bottom tabs into the slits in the bases. Once it's in, unfold the wings to lock the panel in place. Now this can be a bit fiddly. If your fingers feel too big, tweezers are your friend here. Add 5 panels this way, leaving one spot open so we can work on the lights. Isn't it satisfying to see your lantern take shape like this? Now it's time to bring your lantern to life with lights. Let's start with the simplest option, an LED tea light. These are small, affordable, and easy to use. Just test the battery, switch it on, and place it inside the lantern, right on the bottom base. Because the base has that open hole, you can easily reach in to turn it on or off without disturbing the panels. Tea lights give a gentle flickering glow, very much like a candle. It's subtle but perfect for cozy evenings. If you want something brighter, try a puck light. Puck lights are bigger and they give a strong, even glow. Place one in the center of the full-size lantern and it will fill the whole space with light. Many puck lights come with remote controls, which is really handy too. Just remember, a puck will not fit in the Joy size lantern. It only fits in the large lantern. And then there are fairy lights, my personal favorite. They add sparkle, twinkle, and a magical feeling. Before placing them inside, make sure the batteries work. Nothing is worse than arranging them perfectly and finding out they don't light up. Once tested, unwind the strand. Wrap it loosely around your hand to make a coil, but don't wrap too tightly. You want the lights spread out, not all clumped together. It will look much better if they're spread out inside of your lantern. Place the coil gently inside the lantern and enjoy their glow. Now think about the battery pack too. You can leave it inside at the bottom with the switch accessible through the hole. Or if you want the lantern to sit flat, slide the pack out through the bottom hole and hide it just behind the lantern. Either way, make sure the switch is easy to reach so that you can turn it on and off and don't just have all the batteries go out on you. Now that the lights are in, it's time to close the lantern. Slide the final panel's tabs into the slits and then fold down the wings to lock it in place. Isn't it just so magical? Cardstock folded and slotted together, now glowing. Take a moment to admire what you made because it's awesome. All right, now let's compare diffuser materials side by side. First, vellum. Vellum is my favorite. It's translucent, strong, and has a frosted look. And when the light shines through vellum, the glow spreads evenly across the panel. It looks polished and professional. Next, parchment paper. Parchment gives a softer, warmer glow. It feels cozy, like candlelight. The first time I tried parchment, I thought it would be more like vellum, but it curled on my mat and it had to be carefully smoothed down, right, to get it to work. The result, though, was well worth it. A lantern that felt warm and inviting. And finally, copy paper, which is simple, budget-friendly, and accessible. It diffuses the least, though, so the glow is dimmer and more directional. You'll see brighter spots where the lights are closest to the paper. It's not quite as elegant, but it does work. And if you're making a lot of lanterns, copy paper is economical. So here they are, side by side, with the same light, bright and smooth with vellum, warm and cozy with parchment, subtle and simple with copy paper. Each one has its own personality. Which one feels right for you? Now let's talk about the Cricut Joy version. The Joy is small, so the file is resized to fit its cutting area. That makes the lantern extra cute, like a miniature of the big one. Because the Joy can't score, you'll use a file with dashed cuts. These perforations fold easily without needing any extra tools. And also the Cricut Joy doesn't have a vellum setting, but the laser copy paper setting with default pressure worked well to cut vellum diffusers. Now for cardstock, you'll want to select medium cardstock 80 pound with more pressure. The Joy may be small, but with the right settings, it cuts beautifully. Assembly for the Joy lantern follows the same steps as the large one. Frame first, then panels, then lights. But everything is smaller, so go slow. The slits in the frame are closer together, so if pieces don't slide in right away, adjust the angle and give a gentle wiggle instead of forcing them. When folding the panels, crease them carefully. Sometimes going over the folds twice helps. The smaller tabs fit tighter into the frame, so this is where tweezers really shine. Use them to guide the wings into place or press them open inside the frame where fingers can't reach. Add 5 panels first, leaving the last space open for your lights. For the Joy-sized lantern, you really have 2 great lighting options. The first is a small LED tea light. Switch it on and simply set it right on the bottom inside the frame. It sits neatly in the center, and because the lantern is smaller, that little flicker fills the whole lantern with a warm, cozy glow. The second option is a shorter strand of fairy lights. These take just a tiny bit more effort, but the effect is magical. Unwind the strand and then feed the loose end up from the bottom base so the battery pack stays on the outside. Then coil the lights tightly so they will fit inside the lantern. Place the battery pack so it rests right behind the lantern where you can easily reach the switch. Once your light is in place, go ahead and add the final panel. Slide the tabs into the slits, fold the wings open to lock it, and now your Joy lantern is complete. Put the Joy lantern next to the full-size one and you'll see the contrast between them. The large one is bold and impressive, and the small one is sweet and charming, perfect for gifts, shelves, or as a nightlight. Now remember I said we'd prepare the file together, so let's hop into Cricut Design Space and set up the Score Heart Lantern file. First, upload the Heart Lantern SVG. If you have a scoring tool, choose the Score version. That way, Cricut will know where to make the nice crease lines for folding. Once the design is on your canvas, click Ungroup. This just separates all of the pieces so we can work with them one at a time. Let's take a quick look at what we're seeing on the canvas in Cricut Design Space. The three tall arch shapes are the one large main frame with a large decoration and two secondary frames. These will form the skeleton of your lantern. The two circles are your bases, one solid circle for the top and one with a hole in the middle for the bottom. The six long shapes with the intricate cutouts are your decorative panels and the stars of the show. And finally, those lighter gray shapes are your optional diffusers. They'll sit behind the panels to soften the light. Now look in the Layers panel. You'll see 6 groups of panels, which you can expand by clicking the arrows. Each group has a shape and a red line. That red line is a score line. If you don't change it, Cricut will think it's a cut. So it's very important that you change it. I'm going to show you how. So select it and change its operation to score, and you'll see it switch from a solid line to a dashed line. That's how you know Cricut understands it's for folding, not cutting. Once that's done, select the whole group with the panel and the score line, and then click Attach. This is very important. Attaching is what keeps the score line in the correct place when you cut. Do this for all 6 panels. Cricut will put your score lines on a completely separate mat, and you'll end up with cut shapes with no folds and lines floating on their own. So if you see that, you know you forgot to attach. Now, if you're using the no score version, you can skip all of this because the dashed lines are already in place. Now decide about diffusers. On the canvas, they're the gray shapes. If you don't want them, just delete them. If you want to make the lantern match a different color cardstock, select just the cut layers and change them using the color box. When everything looks good, select your machine and click Make. On the Prepare screen, double check your material sizes. Vellum is usually 8.5 by 11 inches, and cardstock is usually 12 by 12 inches. Click back on the first mat to load it first on the next screen. On the Make screen, set your first material. For vellum mats, select vellum and use more pressure to get the best cut. On the Cricut Joy, use the laser copy paper setting with default pressure for your vellum. Place your vellum on a blue light grip machine mat so it covers the design area. Smooth with a brayer to secure the material well to the mat. This will make a difference in how well it cuts. Make sure your blade is clean and in the correct clamp. Now load the machine mat into your Cricut and then press the flashing middle button to begin cutting. Before unloading the mat, gently lift a cut area to make sure the cuts are complete. If they are not, press that middle button on your Maker or Explorer again to run a second set of cuts in the same spots. After cutting, unload your machine mat and flip it over on your desk. Then peel the mat away from the material, not the other way around. This is huge in keeping the material from curling. All right? Now for the cardstock mats on either machine, use medium cardstock 80 pound with more pressure for the best cuts. Scoring mats default to the scoring wheel. If you're using the Maker, if you're using the Explorer, it doesn't, but if you're on the Maker, it defaults to the scoring wheel. But you can adjust it to the scoring stylus instead. Place the cardstock face up on a green standard grip machine mat and use your brayer to adhere really well to your mat. And then load and cut your cardstock mats. Now, if you have any issues with cutting the materials, I have some more helpful tips over at JenniferMaker.com/blades. When the cuts are complete, flip your mat and roll it back to release the cardstock. And use a spatula to help lift delicate sections from the mat. And a weeding tool can really help pop out tiny cutouts that get stuck. I also recommend using a scraper to clean the mat because that's going to make your next cuts go so much more smoothly. Now, as you finish, lay all of your cut pieces face up and organized on your table. Taking this step now keeps everything neat and tidy, so you won't be scrambling when it's time to assemble. And just like that, your lantern pieces are cut and prepped. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, wow, I love making this lantern, but I wish I could create my own designs too. Well, you can. Look at an example that you could make. And I want to invite you to learn how to do this with me inside my advanced program, because I just added a brand new workshop in there on designing ornate lanterns just like these that you can design. Yes, you can. And here's the best part. You will not be doing it alone. Inside Advance, you'll be joining over 16,000 crafters who are just like you. It is a warm, supportive community where people share their successes, cheer each other on, and offer encouragement when you need it. And don't worry, Advance is not complicated. It's not advanced or expensive either. It costs way less than a trip to the craft store. Let me tell you. And what you gain is worth so much more. You'll learn skills that last a lifetime. Get access to design workshops and exclusive files and templates, and be part of a community that truly gets you. So if you've ever dreamed of making designs that are uniquely your own, even a fancy lantern like this one, this is your chance. And I'd love for you to join us inside Advance. Just head on over to JenniferMaker.com/advance to get all the details and see how you can be part of this amazing group. I hope you found this workshop helpful and that you'll make your own beautiful lantern. Please let me know if you have any questions. Come join my Cricut Crafters group at JenniferMaker.com/CricutCrafters. I am always happy to help. Thank you so much for crafting with me today. I hope your lantern lights up your home and your heart. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.